The Boston Celtics outlast the Charlotte Hornets by 1 point at their preseason opener here at TD Garden. I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Josue Pavon. Josue, let's talk first impressions. A lot was said about Gordon Hayward's offseason, how much work he put in, how he was healthy, how his confidence is back. Did you see that from him tonight?
I saw plenty of that, Sierra. I mean, we saw Gordon Hayward that just looked so confident and looked like he was just eager to get out there, but he wasn't rushing things. He was taking his time. He was being a secondary playmaker. He was finishing strong, and he was attacking the rim. I saw a strong emphasis of that. He wasn't the only one, but if we're talking just Hayward right now, we're seeing a lot of that, and I love that. You know, I think that's what Brad Stevens wants to see out of his guys, to push the ball, push the tempo, get to the rim, not settle for jump shots, not take contested shots, and I saw them very patient throughout that first half. They did give up lose the lead for quite some time there. But Gordon Hayward did look really good. I liked what I saw from him.
Have to mention that he did leave the game with a little bit of an elbow injury. Brad Stevens post-game said it was nothing serious, probably just a bruise. They'll monitor that in practice this week going forward. But also, Jason Tatum is someone that Celtics fans might have been a little bit frustrated with by the end of the season last year. He kind of fizzled out momentum-wise in the playoffs. But he looked like his confidence was back in the preseason opener. He had no hesitation with his shot. Were you impressed with what you saw?
I was, and I was mostly impressed with his shot selection in particular. You saw him trying to get to the hoop. You saw him picking his shots correctly. He did take a couple mid-range shots, which you remember from Media Day, he said that he wanted to stick to only three-pointers and free throws. He did do a lot of those two things. A couple mid-range shots, but they were ones that you live with. They weren't contested. They weren't through a double team like we saw a lot of the times throughout the last season, where it seemed like he was sort of forcing the issue a bit. He was picking his spots, and he was doing a really good job. Obviously, Brad didn't want to see him go over 25 minutes, so that's why you didn't see him much. It is a preseason, but I think he would have easily been a 30-point game if that were the case. If this is a regular season game, we certainly would have saw a 30-point performance out of Jason Tatum. He looked really good.
Yeah, and we have to talk Kemba Walker's Celtics debut, 12 points again. His minutes were limited, obviously. It was a preseason opener, but he looked good. I mean, he looks like he's a guy who can not only obviously be a clutch bucket, but can really facilitate.
Yeah, you saw that right from the beginning. You know, he got it to Hayward. Hayward got it up to Robert Williams for the slam. You know, really got this place going right out the gate. You saw that sort of what he can do for you, and that's obviously be a facilitator, obviously be a scorer, the spot up jump shot, the pop up three that we saw him do. He's gonna do a lot of that, Sierra, and to see that balance, when to be the distributor, when to be the scorer, that's something that I'm really gonna enjoy out of Kemba, and of course him being a leader of this young team.
Today's episode of the Garden Report is brought to you by CBS Sports HQ, the brand new streaming sports news network. It's live 24/7, and guess what? It costs you absolutely nothing. Sports coverage that's always on and always free. CBS Sports HQ is coverage for the real sports fans. Tons of highlights, breaking news as it happens, and of course, plenty of fantasy advice. Just download the CBS Sports app on your phone, Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, or other connected devices at any time to watch CBS Sports HQ. Just sports for real sports fans, and the price is absolutely free. You don't even have to log in, sign up, or anything. Just download the CBS Sports app and watch CBS Sports HQ today. That's CBS Sports HQ. Download the CBS Sports app.
Celtics rookies shined in the preseason opener. I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Josue Pavon. It was kind of like the Celtics Summer League all over again. And one of those guys who really balled out was Carson Edwards. I mean, he has been shooting really well in practice leading up to this preseason game, so the shots falling weren't quite a surprise for Brad Stevens, he said post-game. But how impressed were you when you saw him out here?
Very impressed. You know, we saw that energy that we saw. You know, you talk about the Summer League. That's exactly what we saw out of Edwards in the Summer League. You know, people were like, oh, okay, it's just a Summer League. But then he carried that over to his first preseason game, and that's huge. You know, this team is going to need some three-point shooting, and I think he could be that guy if he can stay on the floor. But, you know, it wasn't just that. He did have a key steal, you know, really got the momentum going. The young guys just erased that comeback, or erased that deficit, I should say, so quickly. And I think it shows that how much energy these guys have. Devontae Green, I don't know, isn't necessarily a rookie, but he certainly stood out tonight. You know, between Edwards and even Williams, Grant Williams, you know, kind of got his momentum going. Seemed like he was a little, you know, timid at first in the first half, but in the second half, he got things going as well. And of course, TACKO Fall, you know, man, got the team, got the crowd into it, got the team going. The momentum swung so quickly, and before you knew it, Celtics were leading.
Let's talk about TACKO Fall. The obsession is real
It's
here
getting
in
crazy.
Boston.
It's getting
It is
crazy.
wild. When they checked in, the entire place gave a standing ovation, and they pretty much did that every time he touched the ball. But let's set this straight. How legit of a chance does he have to make this roster?
He has a good shot. He has a good chance. I'm going to say that. In terms of cracking the rotation, that's a whole nother different conversation. But I think it would be in the Celtics' best interest to have him start out in Maine, have him work his way up, and then come to the Celtics. But I would like to see him make the team. But of course, you have Javonte Green right there looking for that last spot as well. He made a strong case tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially now, this is the third season where they've reduced the preseason schedule. So you don't get as much of a chance or much of a look as you typically would, years ago. So it's going to be interesting to see how things progress. But especially this next matchup is going to be really interesting because Orlando Magic have a lot of size, a lot of depth there. So I'm interested to see how they can defend because I think it's really going to boil down to defense. That's what Brad Stevens is really looking for these guys, especially in the front court. They need to make up for what they lost between Al Horford and Aaron Baines. So that's going to be, I think, the edge for these rookies in terms of them making the team, especially if we're talking about the front court and the forward and center positions.
Javonte Green might have proven that he's the more talented player at this moment, but TACKO Fall might be more of what the Celtics need. One big problem area for the Boston Celtics this season is the center position. I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Josue Pavon. They've got plenty of guys who can shoot the ball. They have plenty of guards. What they're missing is a really sizable center who kind of has a lot of variety to his game. What did you see in the preseason opener that made you a little bit worried?
They give up a lot of points in the paint, Sierra, and this is the Charlotte Hornets that we're talking about. So I'm sorry, that's going to be a major concern, at least for me, at least for those first couple of months of the season, until these guys figure things out. I love seeing Brad Stevens start Robert Williams. I thought that's really good for his confidence. I think this is a guy who I think should get minutes. Maybe some people might say out of default. However you want to look at it, I'm going to say he deserves it because he's capable. I do believe that. He has a future to be a shot blocker in this league. We just don't know how long it's going to take him to finally reach that level. There were some times where I felt like his positioning was off a bit. It was a little bit off and getting to his defensive stance and getting to where he needed to be. But for the most part, you do want to see him get that confidence. And for the most part, he did look pretty, better than what we've seen in the past out of him. There's a couple of other guys out there. Obviously, TACKO Fall, everyone went crazy over him. He's still very limited offensively unless he's right in the paint, which we saw through his putbacks. Yep. And when they try to go to him in the paint, that's where he's most comfortable. Putting that ball on the floor, we've yet to see that.
You don't think he's Dirk?
I don't think he's Dirk. I don't know. And Nez Cantor, I haven't seen it yet. I don't know. I'm missing something. Maybe it's only in practice. It hasn't translated yet to the basketball court. But, if that's in the cards, that would be a huge help for this team right now, especially at the center position.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about Enes Kanter. He's a guy who obviously has a lot of experience in the NFL. I mean, in the NBA.
Right.
But obviously, he's not extremely versatile offensively or defensively. Who is the starting center at this point in time for the Celtics?
I think it's between those two guys. I mean, Robert Williams does have a shot at it. I mean, if I had to guess, if I had to flip a coin, I would probably say it's going to be Kanter. But who knows what the starting lineup is going to be come the end of the season. This is the preseason. This is what they do to figure things out, figure out who's going to be in that starting spot. Right now, I would prefer Kanter, but, Robert Williams has a shot, We still haven't seen Daniel Tice. I'm sure he has a lot to say about this as well. I just think when it comes to someone like Robert Williams, I think that it really comes down to how he can develop and how soon he can be ready for that position. But, hey, Kanter put together a pretty good game as well. He grabbed rebounds for you, putbacks, that attitude, that tenacity, great picks, hard screens that were set by him. I think that's what you're going to get out of him, and I think you're going to see more of that throughout the season.
This Garden Report is brought to you by betonline.ag. Head to their website, enter promo code CLNS50 to receive your welcome bonus. For all the rest of our Celtics content, head to our website at clnsmedia.com and let us know down below in the comments who you would like to see as the starting center for the Celtics this season.